We weren't able to legally be married. All of us together, I'm legally married. To April changed our last names to match Nick's last names to show others how committed we are to this relationship. I am a stay-at-home dad in our household. The women are the breadwinners. That's the way we run things here. That's the way we like it to be structured. Nick is a trophy husband, if you will, and so with all of our comes and all of us coming together and all of our knowledge, we can do so much more than an average household. Danielle's telling me that Nick doesn't work, and I feel uncomfortable about it. I feel like weird to have 4 people in a house and one of them just completely not work, especially the male of the house. There's 3 women, especially a pregnant woman, who are all working. I do think Danielle is being manipulated. Music. Hey friends, it's Kody from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope everyone's having a great day. It's Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. For the longest time, I was convinced that Kody Brown was the biggest deadbeat father that was a freeloader that lived off his women, used them for money to fund his lifestyle and enable him to do whatever he wanted, drive cars, go places, do whatever, and I thought there couldn't possibly be any other men on TLC that could possibly be better at conning women into believing that they should be jointly married to one man and have the man not work. I didn't think there could possibly be anyone than Kody Brown, and then I met Nick Davis of Seeking Sister Wives. On the surface, Nick comes off incredibly charming, though it's kind of superficial, and you quickly realize that Nick and his 3 wives April, Danielle, and Jennifer Kody, only obtained these women because he was in a culture that believed in polygamy, and there was an already built-in system where as long as a man was interested in practicing plural marriage and sort of played by the rules, he could convince other women in his church to become his wives. So it wasn't like Kody had to convince the women that he was the best choice or that he was like this outstanding person. They had a built-in system that taught them from birth that their only way to the celestial kingdom was through a man and being a plural wife. Nick Davis, on the other hand, is not seemingly doing any of this for religious purposes, and yet he has somehow convinced 3 separate women that his mind is so amazing that he doesn't and can't work because he needs to spend time during the day researching new ideas on math and science so that he can change the world. And because of that, the wives have stated that they're the ones that actually want to work because Nick's mind needs time to research. Yes, it's effectively one man trafficking 3 women to work for him so he can sit at home and Google. I didn't want it any other way. I'm just so thankful that I'm able to have a thinker at home that all he does is read and think and tell me about all the things that he's been able to research and what that means, how that applies to us here, and how that makes it to where we don't have to be stressed in our life like everyone around us. I don't walk around with anxiety or hurt or any of those things. And if I didn't have Nick in my life, I probably would. This man has convinced 3 intelligent women that he will stay at home and learn about quantum physics or quantum, something he discusses particles and anatomical chemistry and all kinds of abstract and complicated scientific and mathematic concepts, and these concepts that he's learning, he then is teaching them about how they can apply that into their lives. And so because he's doing that, they don't have to think and make decisions on their own. He basically tells them how life goes, what they should think, how they should feel, and because of the thoughts and feelings that he has implanted in their brains through brainwashing, they don't feel anxiety because he has told them how to live. And these women are so brainwashed by him that they believe everything he's saying and believe that they want to work and that he should stay home and not have a job because, as Nick says, the king is supposed to hold the court and the Dali and the queens are supposed to move around and do all of the things so that the king can hold down the fort. Now he does have a daughter now, Vera, with Jenny, and he is a stay-at-home dad sort of, but he also has help from the other women. But he still doesn't have a job outside of TLC now. Before TLC, he was doing nothing. Now during the 4th season, they were courting a girl named Danielle, and this couple though preyed on a woman that had no contact, no family, no support systems, completely isolated in a town where she was basically, it was her that she had moved there, and she didn't have her family around her. She was someone that was vulnerable, that needed people to make her feel included, that was looking for community, and they bombed the hell out of this girl into making her believe that she would want to join their family and work for them, and believe that she could add to their family, because really what they were looking for is Jenny became pregnant and they needed childcare and they needed more income. They wanted to buy a bigger house, and they wanted someone to help with the kid. And so what did they do? They convinced Danielle that she needed to join their family, and Danielle, love bomb to hell, is convinced she should do it, and she joins their family even before one of her friends tries to talk her out of it. Now, the people in this family on the surface are very likable. There's nothing unlikable about anything. It's just what's underlying all of it that is so sinister. These poor ladies have no clue they're being taken advantage of, and they feel like they're being empowered by Nick to work. I always say that Kody pimped out his family, and in many ways, Nick is pimping out his wives. He's like a pimp at home, and all the ladies are hustling, making money for him, coming home, bringing home the money for him, and then Nick is telling them what to do. So Kody's a pimp, Nick's a pimp. It's gross. And Danielle is so vulnerable that when her friend tries to talk her out of it, she explains that she believes that they are taking advantage of her and manipulating her into this, but Danielle still joins because she is so desperate for that inclusion. But a part of joining the family means that she will never actually marry Nick, because Nick doesn't marry the women. Nope, he has the wives marry each other. Now Nick claims he does this so that the women don't get jealous, and he's not married to one, and so there's no preferential treatment. So April, who's been his girlfriend since college, and Jenny, who is 24 and 14 years younger than him. Jenny married April, and they're not lesbians, and they all share one bed. So the women are married, they all share 818. One bed. They have a special room in their new house where they can all do stuff with Nick, intimate time, and their bed is 12 feet wide. So basically Nick is pimping out his wives to work, and then they come home and satisfy him sexually. And these women think that this is exactly what they want. I thought Kody was a good con man, but it turns out Nick might be better. It would be tough trying to satisfy my sex drive in the monogamous relationship. It's a lot of pressure to put on one individual. Is good for that, 'cause then I can make sure 853 that I can, yes, it is for that, actually get that taken care of. So basically Nick is addicted to sex, and he needs it all the time, and so throughout the night he might go and take one of the ladies into one of the rooms, and they get up in the middle of the night, and they go have sex, and they go back, and they all sleep in the same bed together. He tells the ladies that polygamy is good, because no one woman could ever satisfy his needs. Just let me cheat on you, because that's really what I want to do, but I'm going to convince you that we're in a committed relationship, and by the way, we're going to add sister wives all the time, and also I'm not going to work, so I'm going to tell us all how to live and feel, think with quantum physics. I'm so smart, I'm going to dictate everything you do, and by the way, none of you can handle my sex drive on my own. And the women are like, yeah, that's true, we can't. We really can't. He kind of reminds me of Keith Rary from Neum. I'm just saying. So by season 5, after he brings Danielle into the family, things have gotten so overwhelming in the world because Jenny has a baby. He is a stay-at-home dad, and Jenny still works and April still works, and Danielle works and also helps out with beer, and they're all raising the child together, and they decide they want to bring in a new wife, and Danielle doesn't want to, so she literally leaves the family and she packs everything up on and takes off, and she's crying hysterically, and she says she needs time to think, she needs to get away from them. She just needs time, and then they're mad at her for leaving because she opened up a bank account without telling them, signed a lease without telling them, and when they have a talk about why they're upset, April, who is like the first wife, and she says she's the matriarch of the family, is crying to her because she was so upset because she had to brush the child's teeth by herself, and she didn't know how to do it because the child only understood that Danielle did the teeth brushing, and we need you around the house to brush her teeth. It's like loaded manipulation, where we love you so much, but she couldn't. We needed someone to brush the teeth. The poor girl is almost free from these love bombing holes that are in a cult, and they get her back in their clutches as they tamp down her enough to convince her that they aren't going to go looking for another sister wife until she's more settled, and so in order to get her to be more settled, they keep love bombing Danielle with "we love you, let's go do all of these things together," and everything that they do with poor Danielle is with the motive of manipulating her into something new. So on the most recent episode, they went to go smash things and do something as girl time, but they only went to do this with her cause. They wanted to make sure that she would be ready to take on new sister wives. So do you got that Danielle takes steps to get free. They lure her back in. They remind her that the house cannot run without her, and then when she finally comes back, they take her out to do stuff only because they want to manipulate her to let them take more wives, because ultimately Nick has an unhealthy obsession with women, and they are greedy, and it's all about money and sex, and these women somehow believe that this is what they want. Kody had women that actually fought back and that actually over time had an opinion. And right now Nick has these two women, April and Jenny, doing all of his dirty 1236 work, and it looks like he's just this laid back dude that's super easygoing and would never get mad at you, and he's totally fine with things, but you can tell that he is orchestrating all of this, and you can also tell that he's not as calm as he seems. There's this uneasy tension with these ladies that I don't buy it. It's also very clear that his favorite is Jenny, because he's always all over her. She's the 24-year-old, and what's also strange is that he's been with April since they've been in college, so 14 years. They've never had a child together, and the first child that he has is with Jenny. On top of that, they tell Danielle that if they bring in a new woman, she's going to have to marry the woman as a sign of commitment to him, whether she wants to marry this woman or not. While there's this underlying thought on my brain, if he's unemployed and he doesn't have any of the women marry him, none of their income is claimed as his, therefore he could be using welfare, or he could be getting some sort of disability, he could be getting assistance of some kind. There could be some sort of financial government scam that would be a lot like polygamy, because they do this in polygamy too with the Mormons, where the men don't want it to be legal because the single wives use welfare fraud, they get food stamps or whatever. So is he doing this so that they can also benefit from government aid, a way to gain the system. It's all just very odd. The women don't need to be married. It just seems like it's a way to control them into marriages that they don't necessarily want or need, and then not on top of that they legally change their name to his, even though they're not married to him. He has these women so brainwashed, it's insane, and he is by far more of a freeloader than Kody, more of a deadbeat than Kody, and I feel bad for these women. I feel really bad for Danielle. She's being exploited, and they seem so nice. That's the problem. So nice. The ladies do Nick He's a con man, he's a cult leader. He's basically what he's doing is he's building a cult with his women. And that's scary, so Kody Brown did get his wives to work for him. But he also had to work, he had to use religion in order to do it. Nick just uses his sex drive and his quantum physical mind to convince them that his mind is going to change the world. And they're all on a mission to change the world, so Kody Brown has been knocked off his throne. There is someone that is more of a user on TLC than him. Tell me what your thoughts are about this in the comments below. Make sure to let me know if you want more content like this. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, give this video a thumbs up. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.